I don't think God wants people to be poor. And today in the world, America especially, is a gap between the rich and everybody else. And I know the game of the rich. The game the bankers and the rich play is different than what they teach you in school all over the world. What does school teach you about money? And the answer is nothing. And that's not a mistake. That's not an accident. I knew that. Most people know that. But the way to keep the poor and middle class working hard is never teach them what the rich know. So if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which came out in 1997, it's what the rich teach their kids about money. The poor and middle class do not, because poverty hurts. I mean, I don't like it. And I don't like that our academic system's so corrupt. You know, we know the banking system's corrupt. We know politics is corrupt. But academics is just as corrupt. First of all, let's go back to what is financial education. It's not get a job, work hard, save money, and invest in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. That's not it. You know, money is, the financial industry is two things: debt and taxes. Debt and taxes, and that's where things starts. 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, and the US dollar became debt. And we still tell kids to go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, and get out of debt. Now, who tells them to do that? That's the most ridiculous thing there is, because they can print it. Why would you save it and why would you work for it if they can print it as faster than you can work for it? And number two is they keep dropping the interest rates on it. You know, Japan still has zero interest rate policy, and the Japanese are the biggest savers in the world. And I'm Japanese and fourth generation. They're not too bright. Why do you keep saving when they're printing it? You know, when I'm in Japan, that's what I mean by fear. They're so afraid because the Japanese, they're very good culture, but they do as they're told. So what happens to the average person in a financial crash, they don't know what to do. And right now, as you know, for the middle class of the world, we're in a crash. You know, the purchasing power of the yen, the euro, the rupiah, all going down. And people are working harder and harder and harder. And the central banks of the world are printing more money. The rich don't work for money. Don't you touch that stuff. So why did they take dollar off the gold standard? And what does this mean? What don't we know? So what that meant was in 71, they could print as much money as they wanted. So as the economy of the United States worsened, you know, the trade deficit was going up, they could print. People that are being screwed today are the poor and middle class because they work for money. You know, the banker business, they're not working for money. Right. Very big difference in mentality here. They know nothing about money, and they teach our kids. So my way of teaching is to first put doubt in your brain, to challenge your belief systems. And then maybe you can choose new beliefs or keep up with old beliefs. But I never need a paycheck again, because as long as you need a paycheck, be it from an employer or like my poor dad, he was so afraid of losing his government pension. So my old man kind of got fired. He lost his pension. It was the most frightening thing in the world to him. He had no pension. Then it was Social Security, which is even worse. So that's why my goal when I was about your age, a little older, around 25, I said, my goal is to never need a paycheck again from anybody. Even the government. I don't want any Medicare, Social Security. As you know, the rules are always written for the rich. Okay? I didn't make the rules. You can get angry at me, but these are the rules. The rich make the rules. So what I work for, number one, is I'm an entrepreneur. I want businesses. I have multiple businesses. Next is real estate. And real estate is good for many things which we'll go into, but number one is debt. I use a lot of debt to buy real estate, and I pay no taxes. That's the relationship there. The next is paper, and that's savings, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and that stuff. I don't have any of that stuff. I don't save money. I don't have any of that. But this is what most people have to go to school, get a job. And, Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. But knowledge empowers imagination. You've got to have the basic knowledge of taxes, debt, financial statements, and all that. If you don't want to learn it, I can't help. My poor dad never wanted to learn what my rich dad was teaching. And what most people lack is real business knowledge.
got to know that stuff, but they don't teach it in school to anybody. The school system is designed to teach you to be an employee, which is important, or a doctor or a lawyer, a specialist, but never about money. Poverty is passed on. It's taught in your families. And middle class is taught in families. And so the people right now who are sitting at home, who are struggling financially or worried about money or unhappy, they may be making a lot of money, but unhappy with what they're doing, it was probably taught to you. Yes, don't tell people what you know. Keep them poor. The poor will always be amongst us. It starts up here. It's in their words, but when they say I can't afford it or I can't do that, they become what they say. And I meet so many people, I can't afford it, you think I made of money. And my rich dad would say, that's why he's poor. Poor people say, I can't afford it, I can't do that, I don't have time. Because it's an escape. It's easy to say, I can't afford it. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I can't go to the gym. The way he taught me about money was playing Monopoly. And finally one day I got upset. I said, well, when are you going to teach me about money? He said, what do you think we're doing? We're playing Monopoly. He goes, no. What do you think we're doing? We're playing Monopoly. He says, what do you think we're doing? So I don't know. I'm teaching you about money. And then that's when, you have one greenhouse. He says, there's many formulas for great success in money. There's thousands of them. But one of the best ones found in a game of Monopoly. Still is today. 4 greenhouses, 1-bed hotel. I said, what? He says, one of the greatest ways to acquire great wealth is playing Monopoly in real life. 4 greenhouses, 1-bed hotel. But is that all there is? He goes. And he says, what do you think I'm doing? And I went, I don't know. So then he took me out and he showed me his greenhouses. And 10 years later, when I was 19, I was now in school in New York, and I come back to Hawaii, and Rich Dad had bought the biggest piece of land smack dab in the middle of Waikiki Beach. And when you go to Waikiki Beach today, you'll see the Hyatt Regency Hotel. That was his hotel. That property wasn't that big at the time, so he had to buy out all the small guys. Because Waikiki was a little dirt water little town. So he'd buy out this shop owner and buy that shop owner. And it took him a while, but he finally assembled this large piece of property. And then he and Hyatt put up this giant hotel. And so the publishers are like my dad, academic superstars. They had A students in school. And so they turned the book down. And it took going by self-published route. A lot of network marketing companies picked up the book, like Amway and those guys. And they picked up the book to help recruit because it's about financial independence. They're about the same thing I am. And then Oprah called, 2000. And then the next time on Oprah, and I went from obscurity to world famous, overnight success in 2000. And the book has been on the New York Times bestsellers for 7 years until the New York Times took it off. They said it had been on too long. But as you know, most people in publishing or journalism, they're on the other side of the coin of capitalism. So they don't like guys who make money. That's like my poor dad's side. So that's kind of the story. And I play Monopoly in real life. I don't need a job. I don't have a retirement. Don't need a retirement. I don't want the government to take care of me. But
the debt we use, the less tax we pay. That is why I love real estate. I can use debt, pay no taxes, make a lot of money. So that's really what I teach. I don't recommend it, but for those of you who understand, it's called an infinite return. It's the best way to get rich, but you have to have a lot of financial education. The reason the rich don't pay taxes is because there's 3 types of income. They'll never teach you this in school. There's 3 types of income. Number 1 type of income is earned income. That's earned income. It's when you work for money. It's earned. And the second type of income is portfolio income. And portfolio income is from flipping houses, where you buy a stock for like $10 and sell it for $20. That's portfolio income. I don't do that. Trump doesn't do that. So most guys who are flipping houses and all that, buying stocks and flip, the income that the rich work for is called passive income. Passive income is also known as cash flow. So I know this doesn't sound fair, and it isn't fair. I don't disagree with you. But what's not fair is our schools, which are part of the problem here. We never explained it. And I really want to talk to you about the most important subject for all of us today, rich, young, poor, or old. It's called financial education. And as you know, our school systems teach us nothing about money. Nothing. It's pathetic. They have financial literacy courses too. Well, that's not financial education. Debt is money. Please understand me. In 1971, when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, money became debt. So the rich know how to use debt to get rich. That's what so all this financial advice people are giving out there is a recipe for disaster. Again, this is my message to anybody, including millennials, is where is your head? I know most millennials, they want a high-paying job. They want to be able to pay their rent, eat, and all this stuff. And then you dream of the big house, a nice car, and all that. But that's why 99% of Americans are broke, because your head's on the wrong spot. First way you understand risk is you look in the mirror. It's who's looking back at you. You're the risk, not the investment. Let me tell you what risk is. So when you go to your banker does not ask you for your report card. So here's the cash flow game, and this is called a financial statement. What makes the cash flow game different from Monopoly, which is how my rich dad taught me via Monopoly, is my rich dad also taught me about financial statement. So cash flow is the only game with a financial statement. So really simply, when you look at a financial statement, there's income, expense, assets, liability. There's one more thing in the cash flow game on the financial statement you'll see. It's the most important statement of all. It's called the statement of cash flow, off to the side. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur or a capitalist, you have to have it. You're going to be rich, you have to have it. But 99% of all high school students leaving school and college have no idea what this is. FICO score. So when a banker asks you for your financial statement, they want to see how smart you are. So let me tell you why school makes students poor. So really simply, it's this. Let's say I have a master's in arts. Do I learn anything about it? The banker looks at your financial statement, they're looking at the mirror of you.